Hey guys, Andrew E. Guy here, Work-Life Enrichment Coaching Consultant. Hey, my goal in life is to help high-performance professionals to gain clarity so they can live a radically resilient work life. Now, in this series, I'm going to ask you one question. What do you think is the most important question someone can ask themselves? Think about it. What is the most important question someone can ask themselves? You know, I'm big on asking questions. We call them diagnostic questions. And diagnostic questions, basically, are those kind of questions that force you to think deeper, force you to reflect. And in front of a word means to do over again. So you keep on reflecting. You keep on seeing that same thing in front of you until you can make sense of it. Hence, my goal is to help you to have clarity so you can create meaning from what you do, so you can build a radically resilient work life. Want to learn more about me? Want to work with me? Go to andrewguyspeaks.com. So the question I'm asking myself is this: seriously? And I put a question mark right at the end. If you are a high performance professional, you should be doing this every day. Every time you get into your office, every time you're working with a client, every time you are doing a surgery, because I work with surgeons, I work with lawyers, I work with doctors, I work with dentists, I work with high performance individuals, and my goal in life is to help them, is to really get them to get some clarity. And when they get the clarity will create meaning. And when they have the meaning, then they're able to build that radically resilient work life. And that's what it's about. Okay? So when I say seriously, yeah, think about it. Seriously? Like, what does that mean? Could you imagine Donald Trump asking himself that? Could you imagine the Prime Minister of Canada asking himself that? Could you imagine anyone you can think of that is a high-performance professional? Could you imagine asking himself seriously? Okay, Andrew, what are you getting at now? When I ask myself seriously, I'm really saying don't take yourself so seriously. All right? Don't take yourself so seriously. When you take yourself seriously, then you believe that you have arrived. When you take yourself seriously, you think that, well, I've got all the answers. When you take yourself so seriously, you believe that, well, I have to know everything. If I'm in a position as a CEO, then I got to know everything. The buck stops at me. When I take myself so seriously, then guess what? I'm not able to make mistakes. When I take myself so seriously, then my mistakes are fatal. When you take yourself so seriously, there is no second chance. When you take yourself so seriously, you lead into depressive mindsets, thinking that it's your fault, and you become a self-blamer. Not a self-enhancer, a self-blamer. It's my fault. It's because of me. And then we start living a narrative that does not help us to get to where we're trying to go in life. Does that make sense? So when you're working with Andrew Guy, you're really getting an individual who has a plethora of information and backgrounds working, first of all, as a certified educator, and also as a person that has over 17 years of experience working with as a professional speaker, a TEDx speaker, as an author. I mentioned one of my book, Work Your Word. You can get that at the website there, andrewguyspeaks.com. And I'm telling you, I'm here to deliver the goods. I'm here to help you to transform that work life. Because the reason why we're doing this stuff is like, why talk about work life? Everyone talk about work-life balance. I'm gonna talk about that in a second. And I'm going to show you why work-life balance is not it. It doesn't work. It never does, right? But work-life enrichment is the thing that you need. And why, when you work with me, I help to enrich your work life so you don't have to balance it. Could you imagine having a work life where you don't have to balance it? It's already enriched. So you just live it. And when you show up, man, everyone wants to work with you. And that's what we want to get you to understand. So we ask yourself, seriously? Don't take yourself seriously. So seriously. And here's why. If you look at a bicycle wheel with all the different spokes in there, I'm a teacher by trade, by the way, so I like to use the board. Now I'm on the blackboard. I used to have a whiteboard, but the reflection wasn't working for me, right? So I got to get a blackboard. That's me with my chalk. I'm going old school. You know what I mean? So when you look at this bicycle wheel here, if I take out the spokes, don't have a bicycle wheel, do I? Do I? No, I don't. The purpose of that is to help you to understand we know in part. We know in part. We don't know everything that we need to know so we can be successful. I want to look at that. I want you to look at that, and then I'm going to take that and I'm going to change this figure so you can get the real picture. All right? Now, let that sit with you for a minute. So, I'm not the greatest artist, but I'm going to draw this for you. This amazing house. It's beautiful. Got these fantastic windows over here. Don't shout me out. I'm telling you, it's amazing. These windows are looking good. See that front door? But hold on for a second. This amazing house needed a roof. You need a front door. It also need electrical stuff done. It need brick. It need framing. It need plumbing. Are you getting the picture here? It needed all of these things. One person doesn't know all of those. And if you are a contractor building your house, it would be unwise of you to get one person to do all of those. You need to differentiate the task that you are doing. You need to make sure that you have a person that's a qualified roofer, qualified electrician, a qualified brick or mason individual, a qualified person who can frame, a qualified person who can plumb. And then after it's all built, you need a designer. What am I trying to get you to understand? We know in part. We don't know everything. This is why we should not compete against each other, but together we complete each other. Let me say it again. As a high performance professional, we do not compete against each other. We use our skills and expertise to complete the next person. The electricity or the electrician comes in and hook up the house. He's not doing plumbing because the electricity and the water is not a good mix. Okay? And so we have the plumbing done, but before we can get all that done, we know we need to make sure framing is done before we can start laying our bricks. And so everything works together to complete the big task. We are humanity. We are not the human race. Because if we are the human race, they were always running against each other. But instead, we should lock arms together and make sure that we're completing each other. Because somebody is an electrician. Somebody is a bricklayer. Somebody is a plumber. And case in point, why we should not take ourselves so seriously, even in the body. I have the heart, you got the skeletal system, I got my eyes, got the brain, we got the teeth, we got the circulatory system. All of these things are working together. And this is what I talk about in this book here. The anatomy of the kingdom is helping you to understand that no one person knows everything. The anatomy, meaning you and me, we all have something that we bring to the table. We don't have to build a table. Table's already prepared, but we bring something so significant to the table, it helps the next person. We don't compete against each other. We complete each other by knowing what we do. We are created on purpose for a bigger purpose that's bigger than us. When we get that as leaders, then we will start to set healthy boundaries for our professional work life. That is what we're talking about in this series. If you're interested in working with me, go to andrewguyspeaks.com.